Yeah, and then there's a Nintendo Direct in like
Yeah,
I don't know, like half a day from like when we're recording this. So like by the time it's
it's
out, you're
gonna
all
be
like,
later
I can't
tonight.
believe you guys weren't talking about it. What the hell?
Yeah,
It's
if
because it
there's
didn't
if there's
happen yet.
stuff in the direct, like we didn't watch it
Oh,
yet, guys. So
we'll have to do an emergency podcast in that case. But
yeah,
I'm not expecting anything. I think it's good to go into
particularly
events with no
anything,
expectations.
particularly anything Monster Hunter related. I wouldn't expect it at this stage, especially
Yeah.
with TGS being so close and Capcom having like their own thing going on.
Shields up, Sunbreakers, and welcome to a special Third Fleet Podcast Quickie. A first of who knows how many, but come on. We just released episode 42. Please go and check it out. It's a fun time talking about tons of random stuff in games and Monster Hunter and, Soul Sacrifice and stuff like that. Good fun time. Just released, but right after we release it, literally hours later, out of the blue, I did not see this one coming.
So
we get a new trailer for Monster Hunter. So I called Rurikhan up. I'm like, we got to do a quickie. And he's like, excuse me? Okay.
Hey.
No, not that. Not that quickie.
No. With you, Gaijin, oh man, it's like
we go for hours, baby.
yeah. But it's like it wasn't even that we released and then the Nintendo Direct happened because I had a lot of stuff to do yesterday, and so the podcast editing got a little bit delayed, and so it was like by the time I had the podcast ready, I was okay. So Nintendo Direct's about to happen. Most people are going to be focusing on that, so I'll wait for that to end, and then I'll release the podcast. And then it starts, and I was like, no, why would you do this? I mean, no in regards to the podcast, but obviously I was super excited when I was like, yes. And it was weird.
How the hell did you fall? How did you fall asleep after watching that?
Dude, I've been, it's age, and I've been kind of sick. And remember, I was only running on 3 hours of sleep the day before, so it was very easy.
That's probably a blessing in disguise, maybe.
Yeah, but like I did not expect it. But at the same time, just before we started recording this, I was checking the video that I made. Remember I made that video where I went into like all of these calculations about, so here's how long it took for Monster Hunter 1 to Monster Hunter G, all that stuff. So in that video, I checked. It doesn't exactly line up because my predicted date was September 2022. But Capcom, Capcom was more efficient, and they just like got rid of those 3 months that I gave them extra because of COVID and external factors. And they're just like, no, we don't need that. We don't need that. This is summer. Boom. So summer technically lines up with Q2, right? If I'm not mistaken.
For them, they end, I think their fiscal ends in March. So April, May, June, then July, August, September. Yeah, July, that would be their Q1, Q2. So, this is the perfect time to announce it too, honestly. Like I was trying to be optimistic and not, I don't like to expect stuff because you could be disappointed.
Yeah.
But I had feelings that they were going to announce something at TGS because the timing is just, the writing's on the wall. It's perfect because it's right before the end of the fiscal year. I thought it was kind of a little close. It's enough to make the investors go, you know what? Next year's going to be a good year. We're going to make some sales. But it was kind of a little close. So I can actually, and also I noticed a lot of people were not really tracking the Tokyo Game Show conference. Like a lot of the Westerners and friends of mine, they're like, oh yeah, I know they have a show. Like, okay, whatever. Like I'll watch it later the next day or something. I'm like, no, they might talk about something cool. They're like, it's Tokyo Game Show. No, they're not. But now everyone's going to tune in and watch it.
I had planned on watching it if I'm able to make it because recently real life has been getting in the way of me streaming certain events. But like, if I could, I was going to stream the Capcom thing no matter what. Now I'm just like, I need to rearrange real life to make sure that I do it because I can't miss it. Like it is.
Yeah, so it makes sense, but I did not see that. I slept in this morning. Okay, think about that. I slept in knowing that I was tired, thinking there was gonna be nothing, and I wake up, make my coffee. Meanwhile, the world's on fire, and I don't even know it. I'm ignorant in bliss. Make my coffee, stirring it, having a drink, checking my email, open Twitter. Whoa! Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
You have 255 notifications. I wonder what happened.
Dude, it's like
man.
the
So I
the
quickly
second I
woke
saw
Yuna
it-
up. I'm like, Yuna, wake up, wake up. I said, they just announced something new for Monster Hunter Rise. She's like, what? She sprung up really fast, and she's really hard to wake up. And we
So-
watched it. We're like, holy
Yeah.
yeah.
So what? So what did you think about it? I mean, is the trailer? It's not even a trailer, technically speaking.
It's a teaser of
It's a
the
teaser?
trailer that they'll. Yeah, so they're gonna have. They updated their website. The Tokyo Game Show is going to have they have a 50-minute presentation. They are going to give information on stories too. They actually did say on the website they're going to give an update for release date for Steam for Monster Hunter Rise. So I imagine we're going to get a date, which is great because a lot of people are looking forward to that.
The thing that I'm concerned
I think
is that if they're going to pull the same thing that they did with Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, which is the expansion will still come late. Do you think that's going to be the case, or do you think it's going to be like...
No. I don't know if you noticed this. They announced it officially. They're coming same day as Switch and PC.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
Yeah, Sunbreak is same day, which is even more surprising that Nintendo's like, yeah, put it on our Android. Same day, dude.
Exactly.
Same day.
That is so surprising that Nintendo... Because here's the thing. It's not only on the Nintendo Direct. It was the lead of the Nintendo. It was the first thing that they showed in the Nintendo Direct. So when they showed it first on Nintendo Direct, I was thinking about this on the way to the office this morning, and I was like, okay, since they showed it first there, then most likely there's going to be a delay. But they've actually announced that it's not going to be the case.
That is correct.
Dude.
So
Listen. So listen. I got this new computer. That means I'm gonna replay Rise. Replay Rise in glorious 4K. I'm gonna stream Rise in glorious 4K, and then when Rise comes out on the Sunbreak, if it's day and date, I'm playing it on PC, dude.
Well, then you got a lot of people now excited because Steam's coming out with their portable thing as well, right?
Yeah, the Steam Deck
or whatever.
I'm still not excited about Steam Deck because Valve has a terrible track record of how they handle their hardware. So I don't know.
Yeah, but this is hype. I mean, they announce, this is so for those, I want to give some information here because I noticed there was a lot of confusion online. So this is a teaser, okay? So they're going to be giving actual official information about this game at Tokyo Game Show during the 50-minute show. Make sure you check your local time. It's going to be a little weird for some people, but it's September 30th everywhere. I actually wrote a note
September
here
30th?
of when. Yes.
Yes, it is. Oh my God. Okay, September 30th.
I know it's already September, isn't it crazy?
Wait, it's going to be...
Hang on, I made a list here. So,
you have the times?
Sorry.
Perfect.
Yeah. So for Japan, it's going to be 10 to 10:50 at night. For US, it's PDT, so Pacific. It's going to be 6 to 6:50 a.m. And for UK BST, it's going to be 2 to 2:50 p.m.
Oh, dude, that is actually perfect. Oh my God, dude, that's perfect timing. Oh, thank God, dude. It's not like the Final Fantasy 14 stream that started at 3 a.m. Thanks, Square. Thanks for that.
They found a really good time.
Yes,
I think because in the U.S. asking people to wake up at 6 is pushing it, but it's better than saying, "Hey, 2 a.m." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that, and also I always like it better when you could wake up and then see something because you know already that it's out there, so you know not to check Twitter, you know not to go on YouTube, and you can just go straight to the source, right? You can bookmark it, and that's it. Where at the evening, it's kind of like you're not quite sure when it's going to happen, and it just sort of like pops out of nowhere, and you can get spoiled if you want to watch it live or feel like you are. But anyways, so they announced they're going to have that at TGS. They did say on their website that they will have Information on the release of the PC version of Base Rise. So I imagine we'll have a date. So that's really good. And then Nintendo of Europe did us a solid. So, hang on a second. I took a lot of screenshots.
You got to send me those. I'll actually edit this, not like the regular podcast. I'll try to like edit and splice in stuff for people. So you got to send me all those screenshots you took. Like, guys, I just woke up pretty much, so there's a lot of information that I'm still not aware of, which is why I wanted to talk to Gaijin about this.
Yeah, so Nintendo of America said, under the moonlight, new threats emerge. Sink your teeth into a teaser for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak coming summer 2022. This massive paid expansion pack to Monster Hunter Rise brings new stories, locales, monsters, hunting actions, and quest rank. And it was great, but I think people just kind of glossed it over because it was written out. But like Nintendo of Europe did a solid. They went like check mark. They said new stories, new locales, new monsters, new hunting actions, new quest rank. So it's like, yeah, this is the Master Rank expansion. This is the Iceborne to World.
One of the things that I have to say though is like new locales. Plural? Are we talking like one big map and then like a couple of smaller event type things? Or do you think it's actually going to be multiple
maps?
Multiple big maps?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, dude. That's like a first, right? For Monster Hunter? That's a first.
No.
When a G rank gets...
No, I think Iceborne was like the first where they only gave you like one new map or two.
No, I mean...
That was really unique.
And
then they opened it up.
Isn't like GU also just what was it? Ruin Pinnacle? GU is also just Ruin Pinnacle. I don't know what 4U is because I didn't.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because GU had so many maps to begin with. It was like
exactly
20 or something like that.
So
yeah.
I think mostly in
GU,
G rank
we tend
to get like one map most of the time. I think like one big map and then a couple of event maps. So if Rise would actually have multiple maps because they go like locales, like more than one.
Yeah.
Deserted Island. Deserted Island.
There's a lot of possibilities here.
Interesting that they say
I'm looking at the press release, and it is plural. New locales, gameplay elements, quest rank, and more. And it's stated for a summer 2022 simultaneous release for both Nintendo Switch and PC.
Dude, that is gonna be so good. I'm so happy that they're doing that because I know a lot of friends of mine that were actually playing Monster Hunter World on PC, and then because there was a delay on Iceborne, they fell off and they never picked it up again. They were just like, no, okay. If they're not gonna respect me as a consumer, that type of stuff, they just got upset and they never picked it up. And I was like, oh, come on, dude. But so
we got a teaser for the actual announcement, which is coming in a week. And man, what a teaser. Oh my God. How many? I've seen it maybe, I don't know, 3 dozen times.
I only saw it like twice because last night was not good for me. I was just like completely destroyed. But the stuff that is in that trailer, it's basically just the flagship. That's what you're getting. Here's the flagship.
Well, we don't even know if that's the flagship. They just said a new monster that we don't. I would assume so as well, but it's also like in the logo, which is kind of interesting. Like Narwa and Bushi were in the logo, but they weren't the flagship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know actually, and I've done a lot of thinking and researching. I did a video that was like 17 minutes long that you can check out on my channel, but I've been doing a lot of theorizing about what it is, and I think I've come around with the idea that this is probably an Elder Dragon because it's got the 4 legs and the wings and the horns. I kind of went on a thing where I see elements of young Garuga in there, but I think it was more of an inspirational thing than an actual lineage thing. But I went ahead and covered it in the video anyways because it's just fun to think about, right?
That was also one of the things that I thought about particularly when he's climbing up the structure. I'm just like, he's got a little bit of a silhouette thing going on.
He's got a beak. He's got the red eyes. He's got the triple trident tail and all that. The wing shape of the claws are identical. I'm like, But and then there's that like metallic, like almost glavinous sound in its roar at the end, which you get that metallic sound with Garuga. So I was like, I don't know, but I don't know if it's the flagship, but whatever it is, it looks like it's a vampire-inspired monster. So that gets me thinking. Like, one, there's no way that this is not Rondine's hometown. With the amount of tweets they've been doing recently, the amount of teasing inside the actual game of Monster Hunter Rise, this is definitely Rondine's European-based, probably England, British, whatever. I don't know the right wording for that anymore. But it's going to be based like that. It's going to be her hometown for sure. And it's kind of, someone was pointing it out. It was interesting. They said something like, the sun rises in the east, and then sunbreak happens in the west or something. I'm like, what? I don't know, and that got me thinking. I'm like, wait, what if the new monsters they introduce, like, because there won't be a ton of them, right? Because like the expansion packs don't usually have a ton of new monsters, but they do have some really cool ones.
They have returning monsters. Usually, a lot.
What if they have What if they have some new ones that are inspired by not Eastern yokai, but Western yokai, like vampires, werewolves, mummies, and stuff like that. Trolls, ogres, cyclopses, and griffins.
Yeah, because we
stuff.
do have
Cool.
like the castle, which this is clearly a Western.
Yeah,
it's
not Schrade, but it's definitely, and it's not Romanian either. I looked at tons of Transylvanian castles and stuff like that. Like, it's not; those are very differently designed. This is very like England. I even found a picture of some Portugal.
This is clearly a Portuguese
similar.
Castle, Gaijin.
Yes.
No, it's actually, I don't think it looks like a Portuguese castle, to be honest.
I found a Portuguese castle that does look like it, though.
Oh.
It was in my video. Okay. And some English ones as well. But it's definitely not Schrade. We know that Rondine comes from a very far land. So this is going to be brand new. It's going to give them a lot of freedom to do whatever they want. I don't know if it's the only place we're going to go. Like, are they also going to have Yukumo? Because they keep talking about Yukumo. That would be nice. Surprise. But I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes too high.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the new monster and just the vibe, the goth? I mean, come on. I'm playing
Soul Sacrifice.
Soul Sacrifice. So, like, I'm getting off on. I'm like, oh my god. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is the vibe I want.
One of the first things that I got when you get the reveal of him like spreading his wings apart and you look at his face.
Oh yeah.
Because they hadn't identified it. Wait, at that point you have seen a Rathalos, right? Yeah, you did. So, but I was still wondering, because you know how sometimes they do that stuff where they put a trailer and then it's like new Smash character, and I was like, is there going to be like maybe a monster? At the start, I was still like, kind of, is this going to be a Monster Hunter Smash crossover weird thing? And then I see you see the monster revealing its face for the first time, and I initially thought Castlevania, like, right? I get vibes of Castlevania from the first shot that you get of the monster's face, and he looks like
they nailed vampire. Yes, bat. Yes, it's there. Blood, gothic. Cathedral, castle. I even sent you a funny pic right now.
I was actually checking what you had sent me.
It's almost the same staging as the Dark Arisen. Bitter Black Isle. Like, it's very similar.
The final boss of Dark
has to be Makino-san. I think it's Makino, because did you hear that killer background music? Oh my! You've only seen it twice.
Yeah,
watch it again. Listen just to the music. My skin just. I get goosebumps. It has to be him, because it sounds like Dogma. Like, seriously does. It's unbelievable, and it's got the chorus in the background and everything, but it's not like Asian chorus. It's very Dark Souls chorus.
Imagine if Sunbreak has like teases for Dragon's Dogma 2. Imagine if it has imagine it having like a crossover, because like since Capcom's doing all of these collabs with itself, and you have all of this stuff that seems in a lot of ways inspired by Dragon's Dogma as well. Then, oh my god, if they do like a Dragon's Dogma collab and like somehow cross that over into announcing Dragon's Dogma 2.
Can you imagine like some stupid pawn pops up in the world and he's like, where am I? Where's Grand Soren? It's like, no. And you have to help the pawn get back.
You have to. I need to go help the Arisen.
My master is somewhere else. He gave me an item to return. I don't know where he went. Be careful. Wolves are afraid of fire.
Wolves hunt in packs, Arisen.
Hunt in packs, yes. The Grand Duke can do to commission some new roads.
Oh my god, that would be freaking awesome. I am super pumped about it. Now, we also
I did not see this coming. Like, I never did I imagine this would be the visual that they would go with. Like some dark, like
because
Halloween almost stuff. Like I just would never had that in my brain to think that would happen.
it's such a distinct thing, right? Because you're going from this very Eastern, Kimura, traditional Japanese, all of this stuff, and then suddenly like, and now here's Gothic. And it's just like, wait.
Dark medieval. You're like, okay then.
But I'm just like super pumped for it. Like for starters, I love, medieval RPGs and stuff like that. So yeah, sure, bring it over. Let's go to castles. Let's do crazy stuff. I can already see myself like climbing in the castle with the wire bug and all of that. Maybe we have to do the trip to Rondine's village, country, whatever. And that in and of itself is pretty exciting because again, like we always say during the podcast, one of my favorite stories still is, even after stories 2, is still for Ultimate because of the journey to different villages. Like, so if there's like a journey aspect to it, it would be so amazing. Like, just imagine, okay, we have to go to Rondine's town, but on the way, maybe we pass on some other village and we find out more about which one is it Yomogi? That's like the little girl that was brought over, right? So maybe we find out more about Yomogi's past. We find out about Rondine's past. Dude, the possibilities are just insane.
Are just endless.
Yeah.
I even came up with some like crazy thing. I'm like, what if they went like really like elementary level like story writing? They like silver bullets are the only thing that will kill this scene, or Tatara steel, we need it. And that's why Rondine's trying to get Hamon, is because Tatara steel has, aspects to it that work. I don't know.
That would that actually makes sense because she did go there to investigate Tatara steel, right?
She wanted to get him and talk him into coming back to her kingdom to help. I actually think Capcom did a mistranslation possibly recently. Usually their tweets are fantastic, by the way. The translations are great of the cat who's the spy.
Fukushigi.
So he did. He said something about, he mentioned a king, but in the game they only ever mention Her Highness and the Queen. So I think and in the Japanese they didn't say king, they said kingdom. So maybe maybe there is a king and they leaked it, or maybe they just got it wrong because it's easy. Because you would assume if there's a queen that there's probably a king, but if you're really familiar with the dialogue of Rondine, you'll know that they only ever refer to Her Highness and her knights, and her knights are her hunters. Then they said there's nothing more fancy. We're called knights, but we're not that fancy. And they said that Rondine's, I think, sister is a knight. And she kicks butt, and we know that Rondine uses longsword, right? So that's your girl in love with the longsword user. That's Rurikhan for you.
I'm gonna
try to convert the.
I'm gonna convert.
We're gonna bring some foreign weapon to her land, this gun lance, and I'm
gonna convert it to gun lance.
It's all the rage back in the Hunter world. Trust me, like
don't worry about
everyone in the guild uses it.
And it has to get buffed because like they saw the numbers, right? The usage numbers, so they have to buff it for Sunbreak. Yes. I was actually curious about something else, which is, did you do like a literal translation of whatever it is in Japanese, and does it translate exactly to Sunbreak, or is it different?
No, it's just phonetically Sunbreak.
Oh, so even in Japanese, like Sunbreak.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Sunbreak, whatever. Yeah.
Oh man.
So it's like, okay.
So
there's no hint there of like what to expect.
Yeah, I was hoping that we'd get something there from the Japanese translation. Like, it's actually this thing. Okay. What about new hunting actions? What do you think that we're talking about here? Like switch skills, new things like that?
Yeah, or? I'm gonna guess both switch skills and silkbind attacks. I imagine we'll get probably like 1 or 2 for each one. Yeah. I would love to see them do what they did in Generations Ultimate, which would be have a silkbind that you can use with any weapon, more like a general utility one.
So like an absolute evasion, something like that?
Yeah. One thing that got me excited in the trailer was, if you notice, the new monster is climbing up quite a detailed cylinder wall, which from a game programming perspective, if it's a cutscene, okay, sure, but if that's like in game, like if he's climbing up around arenas that are like
a castle
round pillars,
tower?
like
it's a castle.
Like, can you imagine?
No, that's actually a pillar.
Like that would be the right way to get the monsters buffed for G rank. Is what if we have monsters that are now utilizing the environment, just like the hunters? They're able to jump off walls even more so, or climb up them and do stuff.
Come at you from weird angles, almost like Volstrax.
Yeah.
But they're doing it through the terrain. Yeah.
think like WWF, like Diablo's doing like a wall kick and like jumping off and going wah right back at you or something. It'd be sweet. Go crazy,
Dude,
you know?
The moment you said that, I could instantly imagine an elbow drop from Gosarag. Gosarag just like climbs up and I was like, whoa! That is pretty awesome. Now, an interesting thing I thought as well, and did you check these tweets in Japanese too? Like the list of stuff like we have for Nintendo of Europe, new stories, locales, monsters, all of that stuff. I'm very curious to see if anything else is revealed there. But one of the things that instantly calls to my attention is stories being plural, because you could argue that Rise is one story, right? You have one story. It's a story of All Mother, all of that, everything leads up to All Mother, and then it ends. And the rest of it is just like, hey, here's some event stuff, here's some stronger monsters, but there's no more story implications. And here we have stories plural. It makes me wonder, if there's going to be more than just one plot line that we're going to be following, which again, for Monster Hunter, it's not really a big deal. Most people are going to be like, why are you talking about stories? Who cares? It's still more immersive to have a good story, right? To have like something to fall back
for sure.
I feel like.
So I'm looking over stuff now.
The Japanese
Nintendo?
it
just says Arata no Monogatari, which just means a new story.
Okay.
But then again, there's not always plural and singular in Japanese. It can be very hard to tell, which is why when you translate a game, you always have to see it on the screen because you didn't know when you translate if it's plural or not.
Yeah.
I think they're just saying like there's going to be a good amount of narrative added to it, right?
Yeah.
It says quest rank and fields you've never seen before, which I like actually. It's when they say new, they don't just mean new.
They said fields you've never seen before.
Yeah.
That would be the locales.
So it's locales. So they're saying not only is it new locales, like they're going to add in an old one that's remade, they're adding in something that we've never seen before. Which I mean, technically that castle is a new locale, so that covers that base. But they put in here a lot of these like that you haven't done before. They say like there's a new story, quest rank, then they say fields you haven't seen, monsters you haven't seen, and also actions you've never experienced before. So they're trying to hype up the idea that it's, again, we'll find all this out in like a week.
Yeah.
But I don't get any more hints beyond that.
So I've been having like the trailer on loop here because I was on the Nintendo of Europe post. And one of the things that I'm now wondering about is why exactly is Rathalos chasing the dragon energy of the other monster?
Yeah, so I made a joke video that I think I sent to you right before we did this, but after rewatching it a lot of times, because Yuna pointed out to me, she's like, he's chasing that. And she made a really good point, and I looked at it over and over again, and it does look like he's being lured.
Yeah,
and
it
would make a lot
thinking.
of sense. Yeah. Like it's like he smells bacon. Was the joke I put, but it's like he's getting lured in by these like blood butterfly thingies or whatever, and then you see the sweep and you hear the like it gets his blood, he gets bitten or something by this monster, right? And then you see this monster from a position of absolute ease. It's not. I mean, I'm sure they're cutting the cutscenes, but it's like the monster's not even out of battle. He's just chilling, right? So it's like, are we gonna have like a new frenzy, new hyper system where this thing's going to go around biting these monsters and turn them into like red-eyed, crazy-ass vampire versions? That'd be awesome.
You definitely get vampire vibes out of like the whole thing. Like even, again, I was just watching it now and he has like this crested thing going on in its neck. I don't know if that's fur or feathers or whatever. And again, it just screams like vampire at you. Just like vampire, vampire. And again, vampires are obviously natural predators, and they have like all of these things and throughout multiple different, fiction stuff. They're like,
they're weak to Tatara steel.
But no, they're built to like not built. They've evolved to like be able to attract other species, not species, but other people.
Well, that's the idea, right? They're supposed to attract so they can feed and multiply and do stuff.
That is.
So I think we're looking at a new mechanic.
Yeah.
Which excites me to no end, because this is. I mean, in my video, I think as I just made it really fast because I was so excited I couldn't help myself, and I think I said something that looked like it was dragon energy, but looking at it again, I'm like, nah, I think this is new. This looks like blood energy. It looks like it's a new status, new
Oh,
thing.
so you actually think that his element isn't even dragon? Like it might actually just be a different thing.
That's my current thought. Yes, not when I made the video though. I was just like like. But now that I think about it, it would make sense that this is a new mechanic. Again, attracting monsters, luring them.
It almost looks like Stygian's Fulgur bugs every time that I look at it.
It does. So, I mean, it's a familiar thing, so it could be dragon energy, but I have to think because of the vampire stuff that it might be something different. But even if it's not, I'm still hyped.
It's Capcom like basically pulling a switcheroo on us. They're like, you guys think you know what this is, but it's actually not. Yeah. It's actually blood. It's not dragon, but we don't know.
I actually have no idea. Yeah, I'm pretty good at calling marketing activities, like as just general production. They're very consistent, right? Capcom is like they got a playbook that's so predictable. And that just comes with experience of going through all their announcements. But as far as what they're doing in the actual game, I have no clue. You kidding me? You think I would have told you we'd have writable doggies in Rise?
Yeah,
and no clue.
Forget about that.
What, we're gonna be Spider-Man 2.0? Like, no clue. So I was very happy with Rise in that regard because I just want new experiences, and this is such a good test bed for them to just go all out and go crazy. I'm really interested to find out who the director is on this one because I don't know if people realize or even care about it, but they usually have a different director do the ultimate expansion.
Yeah.
And there's several reasons for that.
This is the ultimate expansion, everybody. This is the G rank.
100%. This is not a maybe, this is a yes. One thing that really bothers me in a way that I don't know why people are still confused is people say, hey, is this going to be like a purchasable add-on or are they going to sell it as a package version or whatever? I'm like, you're saying the same thing. They're doing both. Like they did both for Iceborne. What are you talking about?
They haven't confirmed doing both yet, though. That right now it's just.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? But right now all they say is like, you need Rise to play this. They specifically say that. And I should point out that I received, at least I saw on my feed this morning, that Rise, at least in Portugal, is on a deep. I don't know how deep the discount is, but I know it's being discounted on the eShop right now. So they're also using this to be like, hey, by the way, you need Rise to play this, and you can get Rise right now. I think they're trying to get in their last sales before it hits PC for people that will probably get it on PC.
But think about it functionally, right? If you bought a physical version of Monster Hunter Rise.
Yes.
And you want to get they don't have a physical version of the expansion. That would make no sense to me because, what are they going to do? See if you have save data. Like you could just borrow it from a friend and then you can download the expansion. Like you don't actually have to buy anything at that point. Like that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
I don't know. I don't know how that stuff's going to work out.
So even with Iceborne, in every other game, what they do is you got the expansion. And with Iceborne, it was cheaper than normal, which was awesome because now that we can do downloadable content, so you didn't have to buy the physical product. So they made it cheaper. It's like $40 or something, right?
Yeah.
So you can buy Iceborne, or if you wanted to spend $70 or $60 it was for you don't have World, you could just buy Iceborne as a disc, and it's both World and Iceborne. And I imagine it'd be identically the same. I don't see why it wouldn't be identical for this one. Yeah. But I guess we don't know for sure. But it's like. I don't know why people are worried. I don't of course they'll have their bases covered. They always do.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to want to get a physical version if I can cuz I already didn't get a physical version of Soul Sacrifice Delta in the West, which sucked. But I definitely want to get a physical version of this for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to get the physical version. I always get the physical versions of the game. So I've got not 3, I got 3G, 4G, double cross. I got the cards for all of them.
Yeah,
and the way it works is it just allows you to transfer your save data. It's very easy. So this is going to be exciting.
That is exciting. But I don't know if there's a whole lot more to say because basically you and me we just talked for over 30 minutes about a 1 minute teaser trailer and a couple of press releases and that's pretty much it. But
So one thing I would say is a kind of a fun observation I made, which is we are technically in autumn right now. It just became autumn yesterday, officially. It is fall. I know it feels like summer for many of us, but it's fall.
Yeah.
Which means if this is coming out summer of 2022, then we know that it cannot be any more than 52 weeks away. That's the maximum it's away. It'll be here before we know it.
You're already starting to count the weeks.
I know. Well, I don't know the month. So the problem, like I know the 3-month period, but I don't know where in that 3-month period will fall. So I have to, consider the latest possible, which would be September 21st, which I don't think they would do a September release. You kidding me? Like that's gonna be. No one releases. I just
realized what I need to do. Oh my god. Because
my guess is going to be mid. I'm going to call it right now. Let me give you a date. I'm going to make a prediction. Dun, 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 dun. Let me get my calendar open so I can find out when Thursday is. Switch games are Thursdays, right? Or is that like the old days?
Sometimes Thursdays, sometimes Tuesdays,
or Saturdays, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crap. Do you know what day Rise was released?
I can check real quick.
Yeah. It's like
Monster
February 26th, right?
Rise release. It was released on 26th of March.
The 26th, which was a Saturday. Okay. So let's assume Saturday.
It released on a Saturday?
In Japan, Friday for the
West. So it's Friday for the West. Okay, yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, so Saturday for us, I'm going to peg this at July 16th. You guys heard it.
Okay, July 16th. There you go.
That's my guess.
And
I have reasoning for it.
Looking at my video again, the video that I did with the theory crafting of when they would release this thing, where I said September 2022, then which I got it off by I was off by a couple of months, so I was late. That means, considering that I said Q1 2024 for Monster Hunter 6, I think we might actually be looking at a holiday release. 2023 for Monster Hunter 6. I mean,
yeah,
Monster Hunter is just going to go up and be like,
I think they'll do the same thing they did with World. They released in, late January? It was perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect timing. Like, they owned that whole period. It was before, it wasn't in where all the weird sales were going on. They didn't have to discount it for Christmas or anything like that. Like, it was perfect time. I can't imagine they wouldn't do that again here. So if they release this, let's say July, because I don't think they would. August is just a weird timing, right? Like it's just.
Yeah.
I mean, August is going to be like school break. You want to get it out before that. You want people talking about it and playing it together. So September, no one releases in September because you're only ever going to get one shipment to be recognized within that fiscal year, and stockholders don't like that. And you got all the news and everything coming out.
Thank you very much for that.
I could be wrong. I'm just telling you my assumptions is that September is too close to a period end for a quarterly end that to be comfortable, because a lot of stuff comes out around end of September, October. If they want to make holiday season, but they want to get out before the huge rush in early November, late October, like that's a good period, right? And I don't see Monster Hunter ever being that kind of title that does that. So I think, being conservative, I would say they would love to probably do June. No one wants to be more than 15 months out from the original base release. Adding in a little buffer because the world's not in a good place.
Yeah,
I would say mid-July seems like mid or late July, so 16th or 23rd. Those two feel good to me. So we'll see.
We'll see.
But so the countdown is already started in my head, and I will just play Soul Sacrifice until then.
Oh man, good stuff. But we'll definitely have more news next week. So the 30th, that's going to land when? 30, is that Thursday?
Friday, I think. Let me double check here.
No, it's Thursday. Dude, it's
Thursday, so we're
got to
have to change up our schedule.
Yeah, we have to set up to record on Friday because we don't want to have a repeat of this week of just being like, oh, okay, thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah, well, see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, so I think we'll be a day or two late next week.
Yeah.
I think what we'll probably try to shoot for is like my first, your 30th. So like you had already watched it, you got your family stuff done, and maybe you're available, and we do it the next day or something like that. Yeah. So we'll work it out. But
we'll sort something out. But we will talk about the Tokyo Game Show presentation next week. You guys can count
in depth. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, guys.
Anyway, thanks for doing the quickie. This was fun to talk about and
thank
just get
you.
the info out there.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. This thing looks so badass.
It does.
And I'm already seeing the fan art all over. Like, everyone's so fast with the fan art. It's amazing.
I'm just super happy that, there's a lot of people that are still like embracing the game, because I feel like over the last couple of months we've just been exposed to so much negativity, which is fine. Like, if you didn't like some of the stuff that Rise did or whatever. But, it seems like there's still a lot of people like, no, dude, bring it on. Sunbreak, let's go. And I'm just like, yes, good.
Yeah. So, I mean, the one thing I actually do want to mention, because to me, this type of stuff matters, because there is the argument saying, why are they putting all their resources into making an expansion when they still need to add a little bit more in the base game? Like, that's a valid way to feel for some people, right? I get it. Like, if they feel there should have been more post content or whatever, like, why would they do that? Well, the reason is that they probably started working on Sunbreak before Monster Hunter Rise shipped.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works, because game development takes a long time. Once they get feature complete, I imagine they pass it off to a new director, which they always do, because they want to raise directors, right? They want to get people, like, that's how we got Ichihara, right? He was such a good game designer addition on the team during Generations that they made him the director of Generations Ultimate. Then they made him the director of Iceborne, and then he left the company. He said he wanted to do something. He did an interview. He said he wanted to do something new, and he knew that it was like mid-career jumping is really risky and stupid. But he's like, I want to do something brand new that I've never done before. And I think he saw in Capcom that he would be tied to IP franchises, and he didn't want that. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was a loss on their part. I'm really curious to see who's directing this one, because obviously Ichinose needs a break, man. Like, he worked his butt off. Like they started doing Rise before Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
Development. Like, he'd been working on it for a long time. So I imagine they probably started on this game, like, gosh, I don't know, like last fall, probably, pre-production. Which means if you have a separate team with another director with other resources, it means they don't have to do all that technical stuff. They don't have to, how do we remake everything in the RE engine? How do we do that? It's all done.
Yeah,
which
everything.
means they can just create,
it's just content.
create.
It's just more and more
and pump it in.
now.
And why at this point would they try to throw some of that in Rise to salvage? It's basically ran a good course in my opinion, but it ran its course.
I don't think it needs to be salvaged. Like,
left.
I'm happy with Rise. Like, I
I'm
still
happy
have
with it, but like
a couple of events that I haven't done still even, but yeah.
Yeah, but like grabbing like a monster or two or a locale or anything and just ripping it out of this and throwing it into Rise is not going to do anybody any favors, especially for game balancing. So I'd say let them just double down. And if you felt bad about Rise, well, they got something to prove, and I think they will. I think they'll come back and make you all very happy. And if they don't, then you can moan about it, and I will not complain.
I mean, there is also the fact
fair right to do.
That is also the fact that by the time Sunbreak comes out, you will have the PC version of Rise, which is probably going to be modded upside down. So there's probably gonna be a lot of crazy stuff happening in the Rise scene.
Well, that's also why people are wondering like how they doing same day releases, because they did they've done the base work now to finally get it on the same code. So like we're up and running, baby. Like that's really good news. I'm not gonna play it on PC just because me and Yuna like to play together and we don't have two gaming PCs. Yeah. But it's gonna look gorgeous. I'm gonna look forward to seeing everyone else's content.
And here's the thing: like with the new computer now, I'm gonna be able to capture it in 4K, 60 FPS. It's gonna be the most gorgeous Rise footage available on YouTube, guys.
I mean, it's not gonna look like no Iceborne probably. But it's gonna look darn good.
But yeah,
it's gonna run good. That's the most important thing.
Anyway, guys,
so remember, I'm still predicting Switch Pro for summer 22 was my prediction. Remember last time we talked about this? I said that it would be a launch release with this, and then for holiday season they would have Zelda 2. That was my prediction. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
That is still on.
I have been wrong before. I said there probably wasn't going to be Monster Hunter at the Nintendo Direct, and look what happened there.
Yeah.
So
but I'm happy,
up, guys.
I'm happy that both of us were wrong, because we got to see a new teaser. We got to, check out the new information. Bonus podcast for everyone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. Helps us out a lot. And yeah, I guess that's going to be it for now. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong. Stay safe.
and don't break the sun.
Praise it.